Today we're getting into the latest tech, EV, and Tesla news, including Tesla's 2025 recap, new Cybertruck issues, what to expect at CES, Tesla's banned door handles, and more, so let's get into it. First up today over at Tesla, they posted a 2025 recap video and said, "See y'all in 2026, the best is yet to come." One of the big things, of course, is that they rolled out FSD V14, but then they also had progress with their Optimus program. They opened up the Tesla Diner in Hollywood, and the Model Y was again the world's best-selling vehicle. So global sales of that car are continuing to do quite well and better than any other vehicle, gas or electric. This is the third year in a row for that milestone. Tesla also launched their robotaxi network in Austin and the San Francisco Bay Area, and of course it's important to keep in mind that's the network itself, not actually the capability of it being an unmanned robotaxi. Then they completed the world's first autonomous car delivery, which was from the factory to the customer, and this is one of those milestones that they set and achieved, but then actually never did it again, so I'm curious why they're not doing this more. They also launched the Model 3 and Y Standard and officially started Cybercab production, which I think is the first time they've announced this. That is a big milestone, and it's obviously why we're continuing to see prototypes more and more out on the road. They shared some production footage here. Of course, the scaled and ramped production is where they're aiming for in 2026. On top of this, they unveiled the MagBak, their supercharger network grew by 18%, they installed over 1 million Powerwalls, and the Cybertruck became the first EV to get an IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus and NHTSA 5-star rating. So they've definitely proved that that car is safe, contrary to what a lot of people seem to think just by seeing it get released. Then Q3 was the best quarter in Tesla's history overall for vehicle deliveries, and they of course launched the Model Y refresh, Model YL, Model Y Performance, Model S and X refresh, and the Tesla Semi refresh, which they didn't completely announce here. So they still, of course, got a lot of stuff done this year, even with the major distractions that we had at the beginning of this year. Elon has now said that he should have been focused at his companies during that time. And I think that has encouraged a lot of Tesla investors that for the future, he'll be focused at the company. But of course, with all of this positive that Tesla announced, there's always stuff that didn't happen as well. First, Tesla's predicted EV volume growth didn't actually materialize. Elon Musk expected about a 20 to 30% growth of deliveries in 2025 originally, but instead Tesla saw deliveries decline year over year. At one point, Elon Musk talked about robotaxis covering 50% of the US population, and of course, that didn't happen. So they definitely didn't hit that milestone, and actual fleet numbers are far smaller and still require safety monitors. Elon Musk also talked about a mind-blowing demo, and he teased this on social media and podcasts, and this was never shown. It was a widely hyped demonstration that seemed to be tied to the next-gen Roadster, but of course that didn't happen by the end of the year. Tesla Semi production also slipped again, with volume production originally guided for 2025, and now it's delayed until 2026. Still, it's going to be an exciting product to see there, but of course it's delayed here. Then Elon did talk about thousands of Optimus robots arriving in 2025. He wanted to have 5,000 to 10,000 Optimus humanoid robots operating in Tesla facilities by the end of 2025, and of course that didn't occur. Tesla has basically showed us some limited demos, and then we've seen a number of demos in the public where they're being teleoperated. So it seems that most of this stuff isn't advancing as quickly as Elon Musk wanted, which is kind of par for the course. But this is all pretty normal for Tesla. We get a lot of things and a lot of predictions that don't come true, and then we see a lot of milestones happening in the real world. And it's one of the things that makes this company so polarizing. You have a lot of big mega fans that are only looking at the positives, and then you have a lot of people that are only looking at the negatives as well. That's the big thing I always try to do on this channel, is kind of focus on the in-between. Where are they doing things positively, and where do they actually need to be held accountable for not delivering cars with great quality control? If you look back to the beginning of my channel, I was talking a ton about my Model Y that had a ton of issues. Now I don't talk about that as much because the issues aren't as much of a thing, although we'll get to some issues later in this video. In any case, this is also my first video of 2026, so thank you to everyone who watched this channel throughout the last year. For all your support, I really appreciate it. And real quick, I want to pitch to my other channel that's brand new called Sessions with Shaw. It's very different. It's a music channel where I'm playing jazz drums and putting together live sessions with different jazz musicians and interviewing them as well. The latest episode is with saxophonist Ricky Woodard, who played for years with Ray Charles, and you can check that one out linked in the description below. I hope that you'll enjoy it. Next up today, the Cybertruck has been a very interesting vehicle for Tesla, and most recently they've opened an active engineering investigation into the performance of the Cybertruck's often noted as oversized windshield wiper. This is oftentimes called the Giga Wiper, and it is comically large, no matter how much you think it works. Now, this follows early software improvements made in 2025 that intended to improve wiper behavior, but issues have persisted with this. The investigation was revealed via a Tesla service message shared by an owner and may involve replacing entire wiper arm assemblies while a permanent fix is developed here. Tesla previously already replaced the original version 1 wiper arm with a version 2 one on many early Cybertrucks, but now it looks like they're designing a version 3. Owners have reported numerous problems with the wiper, including improper stowage at highway speeds, so it leaves the wiper in view slightly. There's poor contact and cleaning performance, especially over the FSD cameras and passenger side. And then there's washer fluid delivery issues like leaks or dribbling due to hose and fitting problems with the wiper. Mine definitely squeaks a ton no matter how much I clean this thing as well. So software adjustments alone aren't actually solving these problems, which is leading to this deeper investigation. At Tesla and most companies, an engineering investigation often precedes manufacturer-led recalls or fixes, though one hasn't been officially announced yet. So that is something we could see in the future. For now, affected owners are advised to submit a service ticket, and fresh wiper blades may help with some of the issues, but not all of them. Now, at the same time that this is going on, one other Tesla design that they've had for years is coming into question in the United States. The United States National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, or NHTSA, has opened a defect investigation into roughly 179,000 Tesla Model 3 vehicles from 2022 model year. This is over concerns with the emergency door release mechanism. Now, of course, Tesla uses electronic door releases, where you press that button and then open the door from there. But if the car loses power, you have to use the emergency release that is located just below that. This probe was initiated on December 23rd by NHTSA's Office of Defects Investigations, and the concern centers on the mechanical emergency door release being hidden, unlabeled, and not intuitive to locate or operate in an emergency, which they say could hinder escape after power loss or a crash. This investigation was triggered by a defect petition and owner complaints, including a 2023 incident in Georgia where a driver was trapped in a burning Tesla and had to break the window to escape. Tesla primarily uses these electronic door latches with mechanical releases as a backup, but many critics argue that these backups aren't accessible or obvious enough, especially for rear seat passengers. And I think that one, especially for rear seat, can't really be argued against. I try to tell people where these releases are in as many tips videos as possible, because it's very much not obvious and it's not going to be easy to explain in that emergency situation for someone in the back seat that is new to a Tesla vehicle. So I'm not really surprised by this, and I've always been kind of surprised by the design from Tesla's perspective and why they make it so hidden in the rear seats. In any case, this is currently a preliminary evaluation and not a formal recall, but regulatory action could follow if NHTSA finds a safety defect here. This investigation very much could also expand to other Model 3 years and the Model Y, since they share similar door handle designs. This is coming amid increasing scrutiny of Tesla's door handles and their emergency release designs from other lawsuits, complaints, and other countries. Over in China, in fact, they're banning electric-only retractable door handles on new vehicles starting on January 1st of 2027 due to safety concerns. The rule applies to vehicles under 3.5 tons, the bulk of passenger cars sold in China, and regulators say that retractable handles can fail in emergencies. For example, when you have a loss of power or after a crash, potentially trapping occupants inside. A mechanical exterior and interior door handle that works without electrical power will be required on all new cars to ensure that people can exit and rescuers can enter easily. Rules also specify enough hand space and positioning standards so that handles are operable and obvious. For the most part, Tesla's most popular models, like the Model Y, Model 3, and Cybertruck, currently use retractable electric handles, which means future vehicles sold in China might need a redesign here. Other brands with retractable handles like BYD, Mercedes, Zeekr, and more will also be affected here. This change comes after months of public consultation and follows multiple incidents tied to electrically reliant door handles, which also spurred lawsuits and safety debates overseas, as well as the United States, like we talked about. Now, of course, Tesla does have those backup releases, but it seems that they're working on more of an integrated solution here, and something is going to have to change for this, both in the United States and China. Overall, I think it's for the better, but leave a comment below to let me know your thoughts. Do you see a reason why this shouldn't get changed? I'm curious. Next up, before we get into more sightings of future products, one more unfortunate report from Tesla. There are reports about poor charging performance in their latest car, the Model Y Performance. This is Tesla's newest car, and this info comes from someone at Tesla. They're using a new Panasonic cell from their Kansas facility called 21VB for the Model Y Performance. And it's a new cell, so they're starting with a conservative charging curve from the software side of things, with the hopes of course, improving this in the future. Apparently, though, Panasonic is going through a production hell at this facility. Reportedly, quote, the process they use to fill electrolyte into the battery cylinders is broken, so it's being done by hand basically. It's an all-hands-on-deck situation to resolve it. Reportedly, this contributed to delays of deliveries of this car in North America, and this charging curve should improve over time via software. For now, it seems these are only for North American Model Y performances, but of course it is unfortunate to see Tesla's latest car with worse charging performance than ones that are a few years old. I hope this isn't a situation where in a few years we start to see issues with this particular set of batteries from Panasonic's Kansas facility, but we'll see how it all develops, and I'll be sure to keep you posted. Next up today, we have a lot of sightings of Tesla's Cybercab out in the wild, and here is another one. This one's particularly notable because if you zoom in, you can definitely see it has a steering wheel. And what I find very interesting here is it's not just a round steering wheel tacked on from another vehicle. This is a Cyber-style steering wheel that appears to match the style of the Cybercab as a whole. Now, this could be taken from the Cybertruck because it's steer-by-wire, but still it seems to have more of a designed look to it, as opposed to something that is just a prototype for testing. In the past, we've seen Tesla testing with various prototypes, and if it's a car that they're intending to not have a steering wheel, they would probably just tack on whatever wheel they can find there. Again, maybe this is the wheel tacked on from the Cybertruck, but it seems like it's something that's a little more designed, which could lead to some speculation that they are planning to actually ship this with a steering wheel there. Now, will it come to customers with a steering wheel? They probably hope that's never the case, but they may need to produce them initially with a steering wheel to meet some regulations. Now, for the Cybercab at the same time, these are undergoing crash testing at their crash test facility, and reportedly one underwent a side impact test with only minor body deformation. This demonstrates that the passenger cabin does not collapse, and it helps protect occupants in severe crashes here. Now, hopefully these won't be getting in many crashes, but of course Tesla is always designing their cars for safety, and the Cybercab will be no different. It appears to be so far in these crash tests, but you never truly can draw conclusions just from photos. Now, of course, the technology that enables this is full self-driving, and full self-driving in its latest versions in Tesla's vehicles now keep track of your stats, including how many miles have been driven on this system since version 14.2. One person is particularly taking advantage of this, David Moss, and he's aiming for a record here and aiming to complete a coast-to-coast drive from LA to Florida entirely on full self-driving. So far, he's at 10,000 miles with no interventions on versions 14.2 and on. This is very cool overall and a very cool milestone to see, and shows just how good this technology can be. But also, I'm wondering what situations he is letting slide here. That's my main question. Is it parking a half mile away from where he actually wants to go, but he's not doing anything so he doesn't mess up that 100% number? Is it excessively speeding or going way under the speed limit, but he's just letting it happen? And is the car being extra cautious in scenarios or rerouting because it's missing turns and he's just not taking over? Dirty Tesla joked about a similar thing here, and I am curious to know what his actual day-to-day experience looks like in this car. How often is he letting things slide or not intervening when I think most of us would have? Regardless, it's a cool milestone, and 10,000 miles of full FSD driving is very impressive to see. I'm pretty sure at this point he can't go back. Next up today, we got some big news this week concerning Tesla's 4680 batteries. Now, the future of this product from Tesla is very unsure. We know Tesla had tons of plans for this back in 2020, but then things didn't materialize there, and today only the Cybertruck ships with 4680 cells. We assume that they want to use these for other cars because they say their cost has gotten down to a reasonable level, and we know that they're expanding their battery production over at Giga Berlin specifically. We just don't know if it's specifically for 4680 cells or not, because if they're expanding there, it would need to end up in future Model Y products and more. But reportedly, a South Korean supplier called L&F Co. dramatically reduced the value of their Tesla supply contract. This was all the way from $2.9 billion to just $7,386. So this is a 99% write-down. Their agreement was intended to supply high nickel cathode materials for Tesla's 4680 battery cells, which of course was a key part of Tesla's next-gen battery strategy. This massive reduction seems to suggest a catastrophic drop in demand for Tesla's 4680 battery cells. Now, for the Cybertruck, I think it's pretty clear that they're not needing nearly as many cells as they anticipated here, and it's the only vehicle using them. So that could be one of the main factors here. But overall, this write-down kind of demonstrates the challenges in scaling new battery tech, and it may signal questions about Tesla's future battery strategy and their reliance on 4680 battery cells. I am very curious to see what the future will be there and how much Tesla is really going to dive in on their own battery cells versus how much they're going to be focused on other products. For a while there, we thought 4680 cells were going to be the next big thing and the thing that actually brought down the cost of EVs into the future, but it doesn't seem like that has actually come true. Next up today, over at LG, they're planning to unveil a new canvas-style TV at CES 2026 in Las Vegas. This is going to be called the LG Gallery TV, and it's aimed at blending display tech with home decor, much like we see from the Samsung Frame TV and others. The Gallery TV will be offered in 55-inch and 65-inch models with a flush-mounted design and then customizable magnetic frames to resemble wall art more than a traditional TV. This art-focused TV is part of LG's lifestyle screen lineup, designed to display artwork, photos, and visuals when not used in a normal TV mode. And it's expected to use mini LED display technology and other features like custom art services to compete with similar products. These are becoming a very big trend as TVs increasingly serve dual roles as entertainment screens and then decorative elements in the home. So this is a very logical step to see from LG. I've actually been surprised that they haven't had one of these TVs yet, but soon there'll be another company shipping them. Now that's all coming up at CES, and this all takes place in Las Vegas from January 6th to 9th, and there will be plenty of press events kicking off as early as January 4th. This is the Consumer Electronics Show, and it's one of the largest tech trade shows in the world where companies unveil major product announcements and trends. Press conferences will be happening from major companies like Nvidia, Sony, and Samsung, and they're expected to highlight new technologies and launch new products, and then we'll see a wide range of product categories there and trends like AI innovations, robotics, TVs and displays, smart home tech, and more cutting-edge consumer electronics. I'll be attending for at least one day, so I'll be sure to keep you posted on some of the stuff that I see there, but you're also going to see a ton of information coming up this week from a ton of companies, and that's because of this CES event. Next up, over at OpenAI, they're hiring a new executive titled Head of Preparedness. This is a job specifically focused on anticipating and reducing potential harms from advanced AI systems. CEO Sam Altman publicly announced the role, acknowledging that AI's rapid capabilities bring real challenges that need proactive safety planning. This position is part of OpenAI's Preparedness framework, which is a strategy for tracking emerging AI risks and building mitigation plans. This is one of those big pieces of AI that we see certain companies not really thinking about, and others at least talking about. With such a big technology with so many implications, there are plenty of risks involved. Compensation is competitive, around $555,000 per year plus equity, and Altman warned that this job will be stressful and demanding. The responsibilities include leading threat modeling, capability evaluations, and designing mitigations to handle a wide range of risks from AI misuse. Overall, it's fair to say that this role definitely reflects growing industry concerns over potential harms of AI. We're seeing mental health impacts get talked about, cybersecurity risks, and dual-use capabilities that could be abused. So there is a lot to see here, and a lot that companies will have to deal with. The real question at a lot of these companies, though, is that when they're talking about a new position like this, are they doing it because they should and because people are worried, or are they doing it because they genuinely believe in it at their core? Or is it a mix of both? Next up, over at xAI, they have purchased a third building as part of their ongoing effort to expand physical infrastructure for AI computing. This additional facility is intended to boost their training capacity towards nearly 2 gigawatts of compute power, significantly increasing the resources available for training advanced AI models. Elon Musk stated that this move reflects xAI's strategy to rapidly scale up data centers and compute capabilities to support larger and more powerful AI systems. Of course, this is something we're going to be seeing from tons of different companies, and the infrastructure is pretty crazy to see growing here. This expansion is occurring in and around Memphis, Tennessee, where xAI is already building out large-scale data center infrastructure. And some people see these facilities as the most important piece here, and the thing that will set companies like xAI apart from other players. Of course, that all remains to be seen, and we're still waiting on the model that just doesn't hallucinate ever. That's all the latest tech, EV, and Tesla news for today, so in the meantime, if you want to see that full episode of Sessions with Shaw, live jazz recorded in my studio that I mentioned earlier, you can check out that video linked up here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.